Hey guys, so in today's video, I'm going to be going through my entire Nintendo Switch collection of games, specifically my physical collection. I won't be covering my digital collection just because nothing has changed since last year's video, and so I highly recommend just go watch that previous year's video, and whatever digital games I have there is what I have now. I don't want to do it this time because I've actually deleted some games off my system, and I don't want to have to re-download them just for the sake of showing it off for like a few seconds. I just don't want to go through that hassle anymore. But yeah, this is my physical collection, and actually let's start with one that isn't a game. So this one is the Nintendo Switch card case 8. So basically, this is a My Nintendo physical reward, and as the 8 suggests on the box, you have 8 slots inside to carry your games. So yeah, like I said, you get this. Yeah, you get this really nice case which has 8 slots, and a really nice background too with the controllers. It's nothing too special, but it is still nice that Nintendo does this, although they do seem to be winding down this sort of thing. It's a far cry from Club Nintendo, which actually at one point gave you full price games. But yeah, that's the case I got from my Nintendo, which I actually showed off in a previous video, along with some other goodies from the my Nintendo rewards program. But yeah, next up, let's actually group them together. So I have here, let's actually start off Sonic Mania Plus. This was one of the first physical games I got for the Nintendo Switch. It includes an art book and Sega Genesis reversible cover. Did an unboxing for this video for this game. In fact, I actually did. I've done videos on separate videos for pretty much everything here you see. Um, so I won't talk too much about it, other than this is hands down one of the best, if not the best, 2D Sonic game out there that you can get. Then what's interesting about Sonic Mania Plus is that subsequent releases have it bundled with Team Sonic Racing for some reason as part of a double pack, or the game does not come with the Plus add-on. It's just Sonic Mania without the Plus, which is a bit odd. But they also pulled this stunt again with the next collection. Well, next collection of games, I should say, Sonic Origins Plus. So originally, Sonic Origins came out, only contained 4 games, those being the Sega Genesis era titles Sonic 1, 2, 3, and Knuckles, as well as Sonic CD from the Sega CD. Then about a year later, they released a physical edition with 16 classic Sonic games, primarily Game Gear titles, uh, which is nice, but unfortunately, the Game Gear titles are not actually on the cartridge, which really sucks. Which is a shame because Sonic Mania had everything on the cartridge. So what's this collection excuse, you know? But yeah, also came with an art book as well, which is nice. I actually have not actually touched this. Oh, I'm sorry. It's actually 12 games. My mistake. Did I say 16? It must have been 12. Yeah, so yeah, you have 16 games in total, 12 of which are Game Gear titles. But yeah, that's Sonic Origins Plus. It's currently the only way to buy Sonic the Hedgehog to play Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles, sadly, unless you sail the seven seas or have a previous compilation that has it. And it goes without saying that this compilation is, well, it is ultimately the best way of playing Sonic 3, technically speaking, you know, just because it does now run on the Retro engine done by Christian Whitehead. Unfortunately, it is missing some songs. They actually replaced some songs. So Ice Cap Zone from Sonic 3 has been replaced. And yeah, the music just doesn't, it's not as good. Yeah, next up we have, I guess we're not really going in any specific order here, but I will do the Sonic games first. Sonic Colors Ultimate. This is a remaster of a Wii game from 2010. And for a game called Sonic Colors Ultimate, it's a bit disappointing because, first of all, the DS version is not included, so by default, that title is a bit misleading. And second of all, the Switch port is objectively the worst way to play the game. It's really rough. It only runs at 30 frames. In fact, all the subsequent games I'm going to talk about runs at 30 frames, sadly. And it also comes in this big box. And the only reason it's in this big box is because of that Baby Sonic keychain, which is based off of his design from the movie, but the first Sonic movie that is. And yeah, if it weren't for that, really, there's no need for this big giant box. Yeah, it's a bit disappointing to see how this game turned out because I was looking forward to it. I even bought it like day one, but unfortunately, a lot of they outsourced the development to Blind Squirrels, and they didn't do a good job, necessarily a good job with it. It's rough. There's bugs and glitches that didn't exist in the original. There's even features missing, like the online leaderboard. Oh, what's going on? You can't even use the Mii characters in the in the in the Sonic Simulator mode of the game, which sucks. I mean, it's the Nintendo Switch. Why not? But yeah, that's Sonic Colors Ultimate. Bit of a disappointment. PS4 is a little better, but still doesn't change the fact that they still haven't fixed some bugs and glitches. Um, so yeah, let's see. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, let's talk about these two. If I can just pull it out. Okay. Okay. You know what? Yeah, let's start with this one. So next up, we have Sonic Frontiers, which came out about almost 2 years after Sonic Colors Ultimate. Yeah, this one's actually really good. Well, I say good with an asterisk because while I genuinely had a lot of fun with it, it's got issues, lots of issues. It really, I think Scott DeWaz said it best when he said that this game is like a couple update patches away from being unplayable or something like that. Because not only is it really rough on Switch, it looks really low quality low quality on this on the system. In fact, there's actually portions of the game where the frame rate just almost completely collapses, which is just awful. And generally speaking, it does feel like my Switch is about to crash every now and then, just because of how rough everything looks. And um, yeah, it's a very enjoyable game for me. Sonic in an open world. What else is there to say? Rolling around at the speed of sound. The only downside, of course, is the massive amounts of pop-in that's happening on screen, and it's not that much better on other systems, sadly, because they've basically fixed the draw distance across to the same value across every system. So, yeah, well, I definitely recommend getting it on other platforms for sure. Just don't expect the pop-in issue to be any less worse. Still, overall, enjoyable experience. Although I will mention the Final Horizon DLC will really test your patience a lot, especially since the game actually did crash when I climbed those massively high towers and had to start over again when I reloaded the game. But yeah, this is genuinely a good game, in my opinion. I say good with a massive, massive asterisk because it is far from perfect. And I am genuinely concerned with the direction that the Sonic franchise is going to be taking after Frontiers. Next up, we have Sonic Superstars, which came out the year after Sonic Frontiers. This one kind of, yeah, this one kind of just came and went. Like I have to constantly remind myself this happened. This game was kind of dead on arrival in a lot of ways because it was a 2D Sonic game released at full price around the same time as Super Mario Wonder. Yeah, this was just not gonna do it. If it were like closer to half that price, I think it would have stood a chance, but sadly it didn't. I've yet to actually, actually seriously play this game past the first level. Um, well, I still want to do a full playthrough of Mania with all the characters and maybe do Sonic Origins, but I might just skip to this one. I heard it's a decent game. It's not as good as Mania, but it's decent. Except the boss fights. I heard the boss fights in this game are atrocious. But yeah, it's a 2D it's a 2D Sonic game that's unlike Sonic Mania. It doesn't feature the pixel art style, but it does but it does feature artwork done by one of the original artists of Sonic, who actually parted ways with Sega many years ago, but just came back recently to do the art for this game, which is really nice. Um, Also did the art for Balan Wonderworld, which was a terrible game, but that's aside from the point. Yeah, let's move on. Let's Okay, we're almost done with Sonic here, I promise. Just two more games. Sonic Forces. This is the first 3D Sonic game on Nintendo's Switch, and it is definitely the worst one, objectively speaking. While Sonic Colors has technical issues, at least it's, overall a very replayable game. This game, I honestly think this is probably the worst boost formula Sonic game, period. It really is. It just feels like it took the worst aspects of every boost formula game in the series and just clumped them together. Like you have the short stages of Sonic Colors, you have the terrible controls of yeah, the terrible controls of classic Sonic, which are somehow worse here than they were in Sonic Generations, which I'll be getting to in a minute. Um, you also have the story. Oh gosh, the story in this is very disappointing, and it's not even very well presented either. It's just talking heads with um, voiceovers. It's not great. I mean, I guess the only positive thing I can say is that it comes with a controller skin and a few extras, but that's not really saying much. It's a very, very mediocre game that I'm struggling to replay on PC because I just can't bring myself to play the classic Sonic levels. And the avatar and the playable avatar that you can. Well, actually, you know what? The one good thing is the playable avatar, but even then, that it's just a worse version of modern Sonic, really. And it's a shame that you can't. Actually, you know what? Before I forget, Sonic Colors lets you customize Sonic's shoes and gloves and boost trail, and this game was kind of like the original, the first one where you could actually have like serious customization options for the avatar. But after these two games, it's like the customization options kind of mostly disappeared, which is a bit unfortunate. But yeah, that's Sonic Forces. Definitely the worst one, sadly. Finally, we have the best one, Sonic Cross Shadow Generations, or Sonic X Shadow Generations, which apparently is a thing on the internet. Don't look it up. If you're under 18, just don't. But anyways, yeah, it's a bit of an odd title there. Might as well just call it Sonic and Shadow Generations. But clearly they just put Sonic in the title because, well, this is a remaster of Sonic Generations, but they also pulled a pulled a Bowser's Fury on us and gave us a new portion of the game called Shadow Generations, which honestly could have been its own thing. Like they could have um, charged us the same amount of money, which in this case was about 64.99 Canadian dollars or 50 US dollars, I believe, and then just had the Shadow Generations portion all on its own. They could have just done that. In fact, I'm surprised they haven't tried to separate them at yet. Maybe they will, but for now, if you want just Shadow Generations or just Sonic Generations, well, unfortunately, you gotta buy all two of them. Sonic Generations, you can still buy the original version from 2011, but you have to buy a bundle either on Steam or on Xbox. At at least from what I can tell. But overall, yeah, this is as for the game itself, it is excellent. It's definitely probably the best 3D Sonic game that you can probably get, or best 3D Sonic games with an S, or Sonic and Shadow games. It's definitely better than Shadow's first 3D adventure, Shadow the Hedgehog from 2005 by default, um, which isn't saying much. I mean, Shadow '05 was not a very good game objectively, but overall, yeah, it is a welcome addition. Shadow here controls similarly to how Sonic did in Sonic Frontiers. In fact, they brought back the open world from Sonic Frontiers, sort of. It's a small white space area. It's much smaller, and so there's less pop in, but it still happens. But as gameplay itself, it's excellent, and I highly recommend it for anyone really who wants to get into Sonic. This is If you want to get into Sonic, this is the game to get, and clearly a lot of people like this because It sold about 2 million copies, and it's coming to Nintendo Switch 2 as well. Though honestly, it is a shame there's no upgrade option, since, well, you're basically forced to buy the game a second time if you want to get it for Switch 2. But also, the Switch 2 version is a game key card. It's not actually on the cartridge, sadly. A lot of games are doing that on Switch 2, which a lot of people are not very happy about. But that's a topic for a different day. But yeah, that's basically all the Sonic games I have. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, wait. Yeah, seven games here. I also have Team Sonic Racing as well, but I got that digitally. So yeah, that's eight. That's 7 physical releases with about almost 2 dozen games in between. It is incredible. Yeah. But let's move on to more Nintendo first party titles you're all familiar with. Let's start off. Let's rip the band-aid off here. We got Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. What can I say? It's Smash Bros. Ultimate. Excellent game. Although I will say I haven't played this as much as I wanted to. I don't know. Maybe it's because of the lack of a compelling single player mode, because the World of Light mode is not something I'm really into, sadly. But it is objectively, from a roster standpoint, the absolute best. And I do wonder if they are just gonna make a sequel to this, or just make an updated version. I suspect it's gonna. I I wouldn't mind if there was just an updated version of Ultimate. I mean, really, I don't know how you go from here, especially since it was already a pain to get all the characters in this. So I can't imagine them necessarily including everybody next time. Maybe they will, but we'll see. Next up, let's get to let's do. I have here Splatoon 2 with a customized art piece with customized box art that I printed out. It containing the Octo expansion. Yeah, it's Splatoon 2. Yeah, it's just Splatoon 2. I don't have the Octo expansion because I didn't buy it, but I also don't have Nintendo Switch Online anymore because I barely use the damn thing. I will say Splatoon 2, it has plummeted in price quite a bit because Splatoon 3 released also on Switch. I mean, in hindsight, they could have waited to have Splatoon 3 on Nintendo Switch 2, but they probably just wanted to have it out since they already finished it. I heard it's only like a half step forward for the series, sadly, which is a shame. And what's also a shame is that they still, to this day, haven't brought over all the content from Splatoon 1, which is a shame. They should just do that already. Just have the single player content from that game and all the multiplayer, or just remaster the first game and put it on the Switch 2 or something like that. Really, I wouldn't mind. Or just have like a Splatoon collection. Like, just have one big massive Splatoon game so that the player base is not segmented, because I'm fairly certain it's going to be hard for me to find any lobbies for this game. And, well, assuming I even get back to it, because I still haven't actually finished the first game's single player content, so that's why I haven't even done the single player for this game, or played it in general. Really, I've kind of left that game to the side. It's really hard for me to actually care for about anything else that isn't like Fortnite or Call of Duty, because ultimately it is a full price game with multiplayer that's I can with a multiplayer experience I can get for free elsewhere. Okay, next up, let's see here. You know what? Yeah, let's do Mario. So we have here Super Mario Odyssey. What can I say? You know, of course I'm gonna have to of course I have to own this game. It's really good. Thing is, I haven't actually touched it, so whenever I do get to it, I'm sure I'm gonna have an amazing time. Um, Next up, we have, yeah. So this is the game I'm still working my way through. Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. Still need to get through the 3D World portion. The Bowser's Fury portion, I'm I'm not sure if I want to do this first and then go to Odyssey, but I'll figure it out at some point. It's it's also a great game, though. It goes without saying, it is not quite what people were quite wanting back on the Wii U, because we had so much 2D Mario back then, and this game is literally a 3D game that plays like a 2D game in a lot of ways. Still fun though, and the added online multiplayer is a nice addition. All right, next game, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. What can I say that hasn't already been said? It's an excellent kart racing game, probably one of the best, if not the best, kart racer on the planet. And Mario Kart World looks amazing as well. But Mario Kart 8 Deluxe just it just does everything right. And I was actually a little surprised that they were going to do World, because they could have very easily done Mario Kart 8 Super Deluxe or something like that, and just kept adding on to that game. But um, obviously, they wanted to do something completely brand new, and that's what they're doing with Mario Kart World. As for this game, well, we've had this. This has been relevant for 11 years now. This game came out in 2014, and it's 2025. It's been 11 years. They kept adding content to this game, which is, hey, greatly appreciated. Though some people have issues with the quality of the content, since they are from a mobile game, Mario Kart Tour. So some people took issue with the visual quality of the DLC not matching up to the base game. But hey, it's nice that they even bothered. Like, really, this is this is as feature complete of a game that you can get, and the cherry on top is the expansion pack. Finally, we have Super Mario Maker 2, which I bought, of course, because by default, and also because somebody was selling it for very cheap. I think can't remember now how much I got this. I think it was 35, 40. But yeah, you got, of course, Super Mario Brothers, Mario 3, Mario World, Mario U, and 3D World art style, which is nice. Um, the only disappointing thing about it would be the fact that there's no amiibo support, sadly. Yeah, okay, yeah, it does, yeah, no amiibo support, which is such a disappointment, because the first game was compatible with pretty much just about every single amiibo on the planet, and even had some exclusive amiibo costumes. Sorry, not amiibo costume. Even had some costumes that were based on like non-Nintendo property. They even did a costume from a popular anime at the time, which is weird, but yeah, sad that Mario Maker 2 did not have any amiibo support, which is a shame, because this game finally has slopes now. But oh well. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Next up, we got another 2D Nintendo game, Yoshi's Crafted World. This is the successor to Yoshi's Epic Yarn, as well as the 3DS port, Poochie and Yoshi's Woolly World. Actually, no. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I meant to say. So yeah, this game is a sequel to Yoshi is Epic. No. That's Kirby's Epic Yarn. This is a sequel to Yoshi's Woolly World on Wii U, as well as Poochie and Yoshi's Woolly World on 3DS. A shame that game did not get ported over, but I'm I'm still hanging on to hope that they might at some point. As for this game, I heard it's not as good. I mean, I played it a bit. What little I played was really good. So yeah, we'll see if how I feel about it overall when I eventually finish it. But yeah, next up we have. Okay, so next up we have three games that I'm just going to quickly go over, since I haven't actually played them yet. And those are, first one is Fire Emblem Warriors, released back in 2017. This is basically much like Hyrule Warriors. This basically takes the characters from various games in the Fire Emblem series and plops them together in a Dynasty Warriors style hack and slash. So of course we have the main character from Fire Emblem Fates over here, as well as the characters from Fire Emblem Awakening, And of course, we have Marth over here, I believe, from the first game. Yeah, this game was considered a bit of a disappointment, or kind of just came and went, I should say. I mean, take a look at the price. This is supposed to be a first-party Nintendo game, and it's selling significantly at a significantly lower price than a lot of other titles. But yeah, the biggest issue this game had was that it ultimately focused on like a few specific entries and not the entire franchise. I don't know about the DLC, whether the DLC addresses this, but I doubt it. And so because of that, it ends up kind of failing a bit, being to be a Warriors game in celebration of all things Fire Emblem. Because of that, it also got a new 3DS port, I should say, as well, because this was when Nintendo were a bit unsure whether or not the Nintendo Switch itself was going to be successful, so they also commissioned a new 3DS port. Sorry, I say new 3DS because it was only ever made available on the new 3DS, since the previous 3DS port of Hyrule Warriors ran rather poorly on the old 3DS. So they probably just made a made the decision to just keep it new 3DS only, just because the game just would not run well. But yeah, that was definitely an odd port for sure. And unfortunately, it is, unless you're sailing the seven seas, you're not getting the DLC for it no more. So your only option is the Switch version, which is what I have right here. Now, what is interesting is that the game got Fire Emblem Warriors got a pseudo sequel. Yeah, I say pseudo sequel because it's not a direct sequel to this game. It's a narrative sequel to Fire Emblem Three Houses, um, the first Fire Emblem game released on Nintendo Switch, which I have yet to actually buy or play, um, since I'm still technically working my way through the 3DS stuff. Maybe I might just forsake the 3DS stuff and just jump into the Three Houses, but we'll see. But yeah, I actually did a video on this recently. Got this on sale for a little less than 23 bucks. Yeah, it is. Yeah, for some reason they keep doing this where it's a sequel. It's a spin-off that serves as a narrative sequel to the main game. So Persona did this with Persona 5 Strikers. Hyrule Warriors kind of existed in its own space. And then, of course, we had Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, which was a sequel to Breath of the Wild, I think, or prequel. I'm not, yeah, I know there's something going on with the story. But, anyways, yeah, these games um, are retailing significantly less because it doesn't look like it's sold all that well. In fact, I actually remembered a brand new copy of this being on sale at some point, but I had to settle with a used copy. But hey, it works. It works out because it's I for the most part, aside from the bottom portion here, it's perfectly fine. I'm actually trying to avoid getting any Switch games that don't have the box art. Like if it doesn't have the box art or it just is a cartridge only, I'm probably not going to buy it. And I'm also trying to avoid getting digital as much as I can, despite the really good deals on the eShop, because um, I really don't want to be stuck with a digital game that I cannot trade if I don't like. I made a huge mistake buying Team Sonic Racing on Switch digitally, which I deeply regret because the game it's not terrible, but it's not. It's definitely the weakest of the Sonic Racing games of the last decade or so. But I'm getting sidetracked here. Finally, we have here Fire Emblem Engage, the latest Fire Emblem game on Nintendo Switch. Yeah, I don't know. Something about this seems a bit off. Like you have some returning characters. Like I'm pretty sure this is just Marth, and the main character's hair is weird. It's like oddly colored for some reason. Like there's a lot of fan service. Yeah, there's a lot of fan service here for longtime fans because they bring up a lot of past characters, um, which can be a little off-putting after a while because you're essentially relying on nostalgia by that point, and it's kind of like the same issues that the MCU basically has where they keep bringing back they bring back past characters, but then they rely a little too much on that nostalgia. But yeah, that's Fire Emblem Engage. Haven't played it yet. Don't even know how good it is. But I'll get to it at some point. Some point. Um, same with the next. Actually, you know what? I'll do Zelda next. Yeah. So I have here the Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, the latest Legend of Zelda game, and as you can clearly see on the bottom, this is not a North American copy. This is a copy I got while I was at the Australian airport because I thought it would be a good deal, and I deeply regret it now because I'm stuck with it. Now it doesn't look right alongside my other games, but whatever. I've got the game. It's in my collection. Uh, I don't know if I'm gonna even play it because I still need to go through Breath of the Wild, which I recently just bought for the Wii U. I got the Switch version with my Switch, but I never had a physical edition until I got the Wii U copy recently. But yeah, Tears of the Kingdom. It's basically expands upon Breath of the Wild significantly, which is very impressive, I gotta say. Um, but I probably won't be touching this for a long time. Skyward Sword, I bought this out of obligation, but also because it was cheap as well. I already played this game. This is actually my introduction to Zelda. It's actually interesting. I have two games in the same series that are complete 180s of one another. Like Zelda Skyward Sword got a lot of criticism for being too linear back then. It really, in hindsight, yeah, it really held your hand a lot. But as a game that is meant to be like kid friendly, I guess, or family friendly, I think this game is probably the best starting point. Um, if you're trying to get into Zelda and feel a little turned off by the more open world aspects of Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild. And it also has button controls. So if you don't absolutely venomly hate the motion controls of the original, you don't have to worry about them. Though I do believe the button controls do get a little finicky. I haven't played it yet, but yeah, that's Zelda. Next up, we got two games once again. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and Xenoblade Chronicles 3. And boy, this is interesting. The box art for these games are almost identical. Like you have the same grass at the bottom and you have the same animal at the top. And of course, you have the main characters looking off into the distance. I have yet to finish the first game. I've tried multiple times to get into it, but I couldn't quite get into it. And what's worse is that I currently own the new 3DS version of the game. So, and I'm debating whether or not I should just continue trudge on with the new 3DS version or whether I should just get the definitive edition since it has all the new quality of life improvements and a new story portion. Um, and the reason I'm hesitating is so much is because I actually prefer the old art style of the original. Like the new art style, they really lean into the anime aesthetic a bit more, which is a bit off-putting because you have these anime-looking characters, but then you also have this sort of realistic-looking world. It looks a bit weird. I think it looks a little better with Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and 3, but it just doesn't it looks a bit off when you're so used to how the more realistic looking characters of the first game. At least that's my opinion. It is nice though that you have the entire like series on one console right now. Like you, in addition to these two games, which I've yet to, like I said, I've yet to touch. You've got the first game. You also have X, which just came out back in March, and you also have the Torna standalone expansion. Torna, the Golden Country expansion for Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So yeah, that's like 4 full games. Like no, 5 full games, I should say, on one system, which is incredible. Like if you're a Xenoblade Chronicles fan, you're eating good. All right, so let's move on. This one, yeah, let's actually get to, yeah, now we're getting to the third party stuff. I've got here Just Dance 2017 and Just Dance 2022. I got this at a convention, and yeah, what can I say? It's Just Dance. Interestingly enough, they actually started ripping out features as the years went by. So before you could play with the Joy-Con and smartphone, but then I think later entries kind of only let you use the Joy-Cons, which is a bit unfortunate. And 2022 is also notable for the fact that this is the last entry that actually comes on a cartridge or disc. Every entry after this is just a code in a box, which I find incredibly insulting. Nevertheless, I am collecting them just because, hey, it's a free soundtrack on a cartridge or disc, so that's it's nice. And, it's nice to have, I guess. Just having it. Uh, and it's also worth mentioning. Just Dance 2017 is one of the few games that got released on 3 generations of the same console family. It released on the Wii, got a Wii U version, and got a Switch version that came out several months later. Yeah, it's really weird. This is like the FIFA, like this is the Nintendo's equivalent of FIFA 14, where that game came out on the PS2, PS3, and PS4, which is interesting. Actually, you know what? I think, yeah, I just remembered. Just Dance 2018 also did the same thing as well, where it came out on Nintendo Wii, Nintendo Wii U, and then Nintendo Switch as well, which is so bizarre to me. And then 2019 is also gets even weirder because it skipped the Wii U, not Wii, the Wii U. So you had Just Dance 2019 on Wii, which was actually the last game released in North America, and then the Switch port, which is so odd. And then the year after that, it was just the Switch. And fast forward to today, it's the game. The franchise feels a bit of like a shell of its former self because for the aforementioned reason of it not actually coming on a physical cartridge. But yeah, that's Just Dance. It's crazy how far this series has gone on. It's kept getting annual releases since like the Wii era. Okay, well, we're on the topic of Ubisoft. We have Starlink Battle for Atlas. I don't now. This was the last like serious attempt at a Toys to Life game, and it just came out way too late. Like, not really, nobody was asking for this, and the only saving grace is the Star Fox content, the crossover with Star Fox. That is, they even got I think they even got some of the original voice actors, which was neat, and they actually play an integral role in the story, which is nice. But what sucks is, again, the Toys to Life aspect. 2018, nobody was asking for any Toys to Life games, and they knew this, so they actually released a digital edition, which came with everything, but still didn't stop the game from tanking because ultimately this was yet just another Ubisoft game. It was a 7 out of 10 game, which is perfectly fine, but not like the most amazing thing ever. And it sold very poorly. I found copies of this for just $4 at Dollarama, which is basically the very popular Canadian dollar store chain. So yeah, $4 for a brand new copy of this with Fox McCloud included, like the big box. I didn't show the big box because I've already shown it before, and I don't want to get it out. But yeah, it's a bit unfortunate, but not surprising. And it's also worth mentioning that since this was released so early in the Switch's life cycle, you got this banner at the top that explicitly telling you that you need to have a micro SD card because the entire game is not on the cartridge. This was before, of course, this relegated to the bottom, like the next games I'm going to talk about. Briefly, that is Borderlands Legendary Edition. Sorry, Borderlands Legendary Collection and Borderlands 3 Ultimate Edition. So yeah, not including the spin-off Tiny Tina's Wonderland, you have the entire mainline franchise on on the Switch. You also have new like Tales from the Borderlands and New Tales from the Borderlands as well, but those are spin-offs. But yeah, you got the whole franchise on Switch. Only downside, the legendary is that they do this much like Starlink Battle for Atlas. Not everything is on the cartridge. So Borderlands Legendary Collection, for example, only has Borderlands 1 on the cartridge, and and uh, Borderlands the pre-sequel and Borderlands 2 are relegated to a one-time use download code inside, and that's basically it. It's not the license isn't for those two games aren't even on the cartridge. It is just a download code, which sucks. So if you get like a used copy of this, well, good luck, because there's a good chance that that download code's already been used. So the only way to get the only like serious way of getting it is either buying a brand new copy or just buying it off the eShop directly. And you're probably just better off getting it off the eShop, since new physical editions of this game don't even include the cartridge anymore. It's just a code in a box. So you don't even get Borderlands 1 on the cartridge anymore. I got lucky because I got this as part of the first print run. Actually, you know what? Let's actually show the cartridge inside just to prove my point. Yeah, here it is. Oh wait, no, I don't even have the cartridge in here. Never mind. But yeah, Borderlands Legendary Collection. You got all 3 games with all the DLC in one package. Takes up a lot of space though, like 42 gigabytes, I believe. But they're excellent games. At least I think they are. I haven't finished even the first game yet. Of course, finally we got Borderlands 3 Ultimate Edition, which I actually did a video on, multiple videos on. It's Borderlands 3, a very impressive port, but as I recently just found out, it's not the most stable. It's got bugs and glitches apparently that prevent you from like actually 100%ing the game, which sucks. And those bugs and glitches unfortunately have not been fixed. So um, unless they come out with a Switch 2 port, you're gonna be out of luck. But yeah, it is very impressive effort nonetheless. Just wish it was on the full thing was on the cartridge though, because like I said with this one, you do have to download the game, a significant portion of the game, I should say. In fact, you actually have to go to the eShop to download some add-on content, which is a bit weird. Why not just have everything from? Why not just have everything as part of one big download? But oh well. Yeah, Borderlands. Um, we got the 4th entry coming out on Switch 2 later this year, which is nice. So, and since it is going to be on a much more powerful system, it's going to be a lot closer, hopefully, to the current gen version. But we'll see. But with that said, ladies and gentlemen, that is my entire Nintendo Switch collection, my entire physical collection. You know, I've had a lot of fun with my Switch, but the thing is, but unfortunately, I have not been keeping up with the games. Like most of the games here, I have yet to actually finish, and really, it's just here just for the sake of having it in my collection, but also because I know that some of these games are going to be harder to get later down the line cheaply. Especially the first party stuff, or actually no, the third party stuff, I should say, like. Or actually both. Some combination of both, really. Like some of them are going to be harder to find, some are going to be plentiful. I just wanted to get it because I saw it on sale, so might as well pick it up. So I might as well have picked it up, and that's exactly what I did. And this is what I have, at least physically. Now, I will probably continue making these videos for years to come, since the Nintendo Switch is probably going to be relevant for at least a couple more years. It's almost 10 years. It's 2 years away from reaching 10 years old, which is insane. And yeah, I would not be surprised if they kept pumping out like brand new first party titles till then, till we cross that 10-year mark, just because of the massive install base. We're getting very close, very very close to Nintendo Switch being the best selling handheld of all time. The best selling handheld is still the Nintendo DS, which is sitting at around 154 million. Nintendo Switch 152, and it may actually surpass this following quarter, or maybe the next, or by the end of the year. I don't know for certain. I mean, given how incredibly expensive the Switch 2 is, some people might be inclined to hang on to the Switch, buy a Switch 1 instead. Or Nintendo could just release a budget version of the Switch again. They did the Switch Lite, they did the Switch OLED. They might do another version, but we'll see. Only time will tell. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Ooh, boy, 45 minutes. That is quite a quite a bit of talking. But yeah, if you like what you saw, guys, as always, as I always say, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. And good night.